I came to seminary with a very like check the box mentality. I just wanted to get the degree as a job requirement. I kind of expected everything that we talked about or learned to be super detached, academic, not connected to daily life or ministry in any way, or something I could just learn on my own through self-study. But when I think through why those assumptions were not correct, why looking back, why those were wrong, two things come to mind. First was the community. I didn't realize until getting here how alone I'd felt in a lot of my questions about faith in God. I just wasn't sure really who to talk to about them, where to go with them, if they were even appropriate to be asking. But from kind of the first class at Fuller, I felt very at home here with a lot of other people who were asking the same questions, who were, frequently on comments on posts, people would be like, oh, no, I grew up in a similar situation. I've been asking that question too. I've been wondering this. Sometimes people would have correct answers and be like, oh yeah, I tried this and it actually really helps. A lot of times there was just a lot of solidarity in asking similar questions and working through similar things. That was just an amazing impact. And then what was even cool about that was that there was some extreme diversity across Fuller, people from all locations, phases of life, many different professions even. And so that just lended a great maybe credibility to our conversations in a way, because there weren't really easy answers. You couldn't really get away with something just because it's what, the few people around in your immediate group believed. You'd always have somebody come in and say, oh, well, I've been through this experience where that doesn't quite resonate with my community, which just helped with all of the conversations becoming more genuine and pushing them past kind of that first easy answer and really digging in. I think of my first class here was an Old Testament class where we had a six-person discussion group. And just every week there was something like that where we would all kind of build on each other's thoughts, and it was a lot to work through, but it was just really helpful to have so many different people talking together. And that really enhanced the entire experience. So much better than just reading the books on your own. The second thing that I was kind of didn't realize and was really happy to find was that the discussions across our classes weren't like memorizing irrelevant debates or detached theories, but there was this constant weaving together of academic tools with faith and thoughts and actions of daily life. This happened in practically every class, but a few examples I noted were the way in our class, in the class with you on Matthew, we talked about conflict and about how that reaches in, how Matthew's teaching on conflict can affect the way our communities deal with and do conflict today. I think of Dr. Bantu's early church history course and exploring the unique ways Christianity developed in different regions. I hadn't really been exposed to that before, and how those different practices and theologies can correct or fill the gaps in, maybe our community's practices or thought where we haven't been exposed to those other groups. Or I think of the Dr. Crouch's Old Testament classes. We talked a lot about lament, and that was extremely helpful, especially just we've gone through a lot of losses in my family recently, and everybody was very personal in sharing about kind of those experiences. And so it wasn't just these theories or quizzes or detached theologies, but it was talking through how all of this can be relevant to our families and our communities and our churches. And I just found that extremely beneficial. So the way this kind of took place in my life was that I'm an attorney, and I came to seminary thinking I was just going to leave being an attorney altogether as quickly as possible. But actually kind of these ideas and thoughts and conversations were so practical that they kind of restored my sense of calling in being an attorney. When I think about some of the ways that worked out, the ideas weren't just like churchy or for the ministry space, and so I found I could carry them over to my work. I could try to draft contracts more focused on the people they impacted, or being aware that one-size-fits-all policies aren't really that helpful, and so how can we work to respond to the specific people's needs in our workplace? Those changes sound very simple, but I think law, like a lot of industries, feels trapped in like best practices and becomes an echo chamber where you just do the rote thing. One of the things I found that I loved about seminary was that it kind of broke those cycles, often very unhelpful cycles, in these conversations with everybody, and restore the sense of, well, how do we do this in a way that's, loving, that is just, and kind of reinforces these ideas that we've talked about what community should look like in seminary. I could go on. I'm not sure how helpful that is for anybody, but that's just some of the ways that over the past few years, seminary has just really been this wonderful place for me to have these conversations and to think alongside so many other people who are asking these same questions in very different spaces and being able to have those conversations across that time and space. And I think it's been beneficial for them too, I hope. But yeah, so that's kind of my experience. Thanks.